One of the advantages of being so close to Branson, Missouri here at PFI Town is you never know who you're going to see shopping here at PFI Western Store. And Bill Medley had an opportunity not only to do some shopping, but to sit down with us. And we're glad that you took the time to sit down and visit with us a little bit.
It's absolutely my pleasure. And PFI, my guy was just sort of the show. I've been in there about 5 or 6 times, but boy, I'm glad my wife isn't here. She would have made me buy the whole store. I got 2 jackets over there that I know I'm not going to get out of here without, and some boots that felt like slippers. So
there you go.
They just have everything. It's just a wonderful place.
No, they do, and it's good to have you here. And of course,
Thank
most
you.
people know you from the Righteous Brothers fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2003, and just a real American music legend. And you are you're in Branson, and you've been there for a few years now.
Yeah, this will be our my 5th year.
Well, you've had an amazing career. I mean, you lived through the most exciting time, perhaps, in music history. In the 60s and 70s, you had all those chart-topping songs. What'd you have, over 20 in the top 100 in a 10-year period?
Oh yeah, I had a few.
And that was in a time where there was so many great artists, it seemed like.
Yeah, it was a really kind of a different time, you know, and yeah, I mean, Elvis Presley was still, you know, happening. All the rock and rollers, you know, the Little Richards, Chuck Berry's, but there was a lot of country music and pop music in those days. I mean, Johnny Cash and all those guys were having pop kind of hits, but you know, coming up I was born in 1940, so to go from 10 years old to 20 years old in the 50s.
In my opinion, no other better time to be alive than to have grown up in your era.
Yeah. Being 15 years old in 1955, brother, that was, and then to have hit records in the 60s. Yeah,
exactly.
Life has been pretty good. I'm a pretty blessed guy.
You have lived the dream.
Yeah, and I'm still doing it. Now it's, you know.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about is the longevity. I mean, there was a lot of great acts in the 60s, but there was a lot of one-hit wonders in the 60s too, and here you are continuing in 2010 at Starlight Theater in Branson, and you still have a huge following.
Well, thank you. And Bobby and I, the Righteous Brothers, we always thought that it was very cool that we were just kind of in the middle lane. I mean, we were in the fast lane for a minute there, you know, big hit records, but we never, the middle lane is that longevity lane, and you just keep going, and we just have the greatest fans in the world. And the great thing about being this age now and working in Branson at the Starlight is that I go out and I sign autographs and stuff, and for the first time in my career since I've been in Branson, I can go out and I finally get to hear the stories that, you know, people will tell you, boy, I can't tell you how your music did this, or I'm not going to tell you the stories that the guys say, but the women think the music was very romantic.
Well, speaking of romantic songs, You've Lost That Loving Feeling, the #1 all-time song ever played on the radio.
Yeah, what's that about?
That's crazy.
How do you wrap your brain around that?
That's what I was going to ask you. How many times is that?
Yeah, you know, I don't know, but whoever is second is about 1 million plays away. They said if you take Lovin' Feelin' and play it back to back, you know, play as many times as it's been played, it would take you 27 years to do it.
Amazing.
You know, at the Starlight where we are, the Platters are there, and I'm just thrilled to death because that was my romance. That was, you know, high school dances. The Platters aren't going to want to hear me say this, but when I was a kid, you know, you can cut this out if you want. That was the back seat music.
Speaking of people that had an influence on you, Ray Charles had a big influence on you.
Yeah, Ray Charles to me. First time I heard Little Richard, like when I was about 15, I said, boy, I really want to do that. Then when I was about 19 or 20, I heard Ray Charles, and I said, boy, I need to do that. You know, he really did something to my soul. And B.B. King and Bobby Blue Bland, all those great black artists in the 50s. Really, I owe my career to.
Did you and Bobby like the term blue-eyed soul? I mean, is that something that surprised you, or did you run with it? How did you embrace that?
Well, we loved it and we embraced it, but we never kind of ran with it.
Right.
You know, because when we started, Bobby and I sounded very black, and that's what kind of records we were making. So a black disc jockey in, I think it was Philadelphia, one of those areas, which a black radio station was playing all black music. So to inform his audience that he was going to play a couple of white guys, what he would say, here's my blue-eyed soul brothers. And in the 50s, that's what a black guy would call a white guy, was a blue-eyed. And so we became the Blue-Eyed Soul Brothers. Well, that was an enormous compliment.
There you go, especially considering the people you looked up to.
Absolutely, right. And we were doing their music. We were just two white guys doing their music. So for them to embrace us was, that was just wonderful.
So did that somehow lead up to the name, the Righteous Brothers? Is there a tie there?
Well, actually, we got the name Righteous Brothers. We were working in a small club in Orange County, right out of LA, and there was 5 of us, and we were the Paramours, and it was a very white area, but there was a Marine base there, and so a lot of the black Marines heard that there was these 2 white guys working down the street doing rhythm and blues, so the black guys Marines would come in to see us, and if you had a great '57 Chevy, or some of those coats and boots and stuff over at PFI, they would say, if 57 Chevy, a white guy would say, boy, that's cool. Yeah. That is a cool car. Or a black guy would say, that's a righteous car, which meant good. And if they called you a brother, if they liked you, they'd call you a brother. Hey, brother, how you doing? And when we would come to work, they would say, hey, righteous brother, how you doing? And I wrote this song, Little Latin Loopy Loo, that it was a hit in the early 60s. And we said, and it was just Bobby and I instead of the 5 of us, so well, what should we call ourselves? We said, well, let's use the name, because every once at the end of some songs, they would yell out, man, that's Righteous, brother. We wish they would have yelled out, that's Beatles, brother, but they didn't. But they didn't. But so we said, let's use, and that's how we got the name Righteous Brothers.
Well, excited to have you here in Branson, and especially stopping here at PFI here today.
Well, thank you very much.
We look forward to seeing you and the Platters, as well as the Texas Tenors are going to be joining Starlight.
Yeah, Texas Tenors are going to be down there. You would think RFD would love get that group on their station. Boy, they're good. And there's a montage. It's a cirque show. Yep. And it'll be down there too, and it's a great show.
Well, if you want to see some living legends, we encourage you to go to Starlight Theater. Get your tickets at starlighttheater.com or pfiwestern.com. Bill, thank you so much.
Absolutely, my pleasure.